Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
Welcome to the Double R Show. Double R here, along with son Paul Robertson, and it has been an interesting week, and this weekend is jam full of activities again.
Oh yeah, you've got your big Flag Day celebration at Johann Plaza, and lots of stuff happening in Lincoln City.
Right, last weekend we got to go see the Village People.
That was amazing. Yeah, thanks
Was
to
that a
Chinook Winds.
cake?
Yeah, it was great. Great show. Two original band members in there, and just a really great crew out of Philadelphia area for the music and the like. So
I had to post something about the show in particular in the Navy, giving credit back to my two brothers, both retired out of the Navy. So it was just a wonderful program. And today we've got an interesting mix of people coming on board. Rob Davis is going to be here. He's going to be talking about Pride Month, and this is a month-long celebration drawing attention to the people within that community that receive scorn for whatever reason, and I don't understand it. I don't pretend to understand it, but we need to get past it.
yeah, so Project Bravery is an Alala Center project that Rob's going to be talking about. And then we also have two other guests that have a connection to events and work that they do helping support the community.
Nikki Price and Keith Barnes are going to be joining us on today's podcast, Double R Show, and we'll start it right after this.
Turn up the heat. The Commodores, live. A musical experience you won't forget. The Commodores. Friday, June 21st, Chinook Winds Casino Resort as part of the Chinook Winds 29th anniversary celebration. 70 million albums sold. 7 number one hits. The Grammy Award-winning Commodores. Friday, June 21st, Chinook Winds Casino Resort as part of the Chinook Winds 29th anniversary celebration. All their classic hits in one night. Reserved seats on sale now at ChinookWinds.com. By phone at 1-888-MAIN-ACT or at the Chinook Winds box office. Don't miss the Commodores live in concert. Chinook Winds, where concerts are better at the beach.
Project Bravery. On the phone line with us right now, Rob Davis, Program Manager for Project Bravery, which is what, Rob?
It's an arm of Olala Center, a nonprofit here in Lincoln County that serves mental health needs of the citizens. My arm specifically supports and serves the LGBTQ IA2S+ community of the county.
And right now, this month is a special time for that organization, right?
It certainly is. It's Pride Month. June is Pride Month, and Project Bravery is trying to get out there in the public as much as possible to different Pride events. On June 1st, to kick off Pride Month, we co-hosted a beach cleanup with Surfrider Foundation and Newport, Oregon Pride, and we had that coincide with our Queer Coffee, which usually takes place the first Saturday of the month at White Rabbit Espresso. And then the next day, we tabled at Yachats Pride, which, the true Oregon weather came out in force that day, but we still had a good time at Yachats Pride and got some of that wonderful Oregon liquid sunshine.
Absolutely. And from there, you did what?
Let's see. After that, I've been back at work trying to put together other activities and other tabling events over the summer. So I'm going to be at Saloma Pride, even though that's outside of our county. We do have people that come from there and come over to the coast and try to find things to do in the trans and queer community. So I try to put my face out there also and let them know that there are resources available where we're at.
How important to that community is this organization?
How important to the LGBTQ community?
Yeah.
With Newport, Oregon Pride being in its, third year or so, they're a great support and a great promotion for this area of the coast. Project Bravery has been around since the start of COVID. You can imagine with, as an organization that serves mental health needs of community members, at the beginning of COVID, that really, was much more needed. So we expanded and introduced a program for the LGBTQIA2S plus community because they have it hard enough most times. We experience isolation, depression. There's a higher rate of suicidality among LGBTQ youth, and a good proportion of homeless youths are from the LGBTQ community. So we knew that helping with and supporting the mental health needs of the community was very important. And, we were sort of transitioning out of COVID now. The importance is still there. In this county, we don't know exact numbers, but there are quite a number of people that still, don't feel comfortable being out and being able to express themselves in this community.
What age group are we talking about primarily for something like this, Rob?
Well, right now I support every age group that we've got. So from like late elementary school and early middle school for kids who are starting to discover identity and explore it a little bit more, all the way up to, I have a couple of clients that come in from time to time in their 70s that are transitioning. And, from that generation, it's a really hard thing to do. They don't know as much as later generations do about coming out and transitioning and what resources are available.
Are we finding that we are finally getting past the negativism, or is it still out there in droves?
Unfortunately, it's still pretty prevalent in a lot of areas. There is a lot of false thinking that people who are not cisgendered or heterosexual are sexual predators for some reason, or they're sexual deviants. They're really just like anybody else. We just want a fair shake at everything everybody else has. I need to be able to go to a grocery store and shop for food without people thinking I'm a weirdo. I need to be able to go to the rec center and exercise just like everybody else does because I want to take care of my heart and my lungs and live a long life. So we did have an incident recently at the local rec center where somebody of the trans community was targeted and lied about, and that person felt like, oh no, my life is ruined now that I've been sort of seen and targeted and labeled as some sort of child predator. But that's not the case.
Now that incident happened down at the Newport pool. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. You may have seen it in other news outlets. I know they did it, I think, on Coin TV in Portland and Bend, and it's been in a few newspapers lately. So,
okay, you've got a coffee coming up at the Lincoln City Cultural Center. Tell me about that. Dates, times.
Let's see. It's the Pride Fest at Lincoln City.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a queer coffee, I believe. No.
Oh, two different things.
Okay.
Well, for Pride Month, Lincoln City Cultural Center is hosting a Lincoln City Pride Fest, and that's going to be on June 29th.
Wonderful.
I want to say it's from noon to 5, but definitely check with the Lincoln City website to make sure of that. But it's going to be held on the grounds of the Lincoln City Cultural Center, which is open back up, and it's really, can't think of the word for it right now, but all the work they did in the option room, it is a beautiful place. I love the poetry lane that circles it. So,
and you said that there's another event.
My office tries to host 2 queer coffees a month. One is in Newport, and I try to do that on the first Saturday of the month. During summer, that might have to move around a little bit because so many people have so many different activities on the weekends. But a volunteer of mine also hosts one in Lincoln City at Left Coast Coffee Company in the Nelscott district. And that happens at 11:30 on the second Sunday of the month.
For a family that needs more information, needs assistance, needs help, where do they call? Who do they talk to?
Well, they can call my office. My number is 541-283-5937. I can be reached via email because I'm checking it all the time. It's at robbd@olalacenter.org. And Olala is spelled Olalla.
Anytime you have any further information, give us a call. We'd love to put it on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's been great being on here with you.
Bob's Beach Books in the Ocean Lake area of Lincoln City does in fact have what you'll want to read. I'm Diana Portwood, and if we happen to be out of a particular bestseller, in a day or two we'll have it back in the store waiting for you. Bob's Beach Books, so you can join the conversation.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service. Our next guest is Nikki Price, not unfamiliar to the microphone for a number of years in Lincoln City, but Nikki is the executive director of the Lincoln City Cultural Center, a busy, busy place.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Things have been cooking ever since we finished the new parking lot and all the improvements at the plaza.
Now, is it totally, completely done, or is there more yet to come?
No, there's a few more items yet to come. The project was a victim of those sort of worldwide shortage on electrical parts. And so we're still waiting on the big lights in the back for the parking lot. And then we also are waiting on an electrical cabinet, which may not be coming for another few months yet.
So what kind of reaction are you getting from the community?
Oh, just wonderful. I think people who come in, they're like, what have you been doing? You know, those once-a-year tourists especially, they keep coming in asking what's going on. And for us, the project is nearly over, but for them, it's brand new. And that's really fun to see.
I know we attended the market last weekend.
Good,
and
thank you.
I was really pleased the way it is laid out.
Oh, wonderful. Well, the whole property is designed for the Sunday market to wrap all the way around the building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but for the time being, they are restricted to the two plazas on the south and the east. And that's so that the grass can continue to grow. It wasn't seeded until February of this year, and so we're still waiting on it to really come in strong. So it has a really nice lasting foundation.
So activities for June would include what, Nikki?
Oh, well, we have all kinds of really cool things happening in June. We've got two big festivals that we're planning, and one is Juneteenth. It is on Saturday the 15th, and it's our local celebration of the state holiday, and it's sponsored by the Lincoln City Parks and Recreation Department. We have partners at the Historical Museum and the library and the Cultural Center, and we'll be doing barbecue lunch for up to 300 people, soul music by Jimmy Harden and guests, and we have really great speakers like Zachary Stocks from the Oregon Black Pioneers, and there's going to be art kits for kids and Black-owned businesses on site, and a special exhibit about a Black pioneer named Letitia Carson, and that will be inside the Cultural Center. So mark your calendars for Juneteenth. It's 11 to 3 on June the 15th.
I like that. It starts at 11 o'clock, so that's only one of many events.
Right. So at the end of the month, we're going to have a big Pride Festival. So if you've been to our Pride Festival in the past, we've had two sort of expanded resource fairs with a little bit of music and a little bit of food, and they've been sort of small affairs. This is going to be much bigger. There's going to be performances in the auditorium. There's going to be a parade. There's going to be local musicians. There's going to be flags and food and vendors, and it's just going to be huge. And that's at the end of the month on the 29th.
Now, most of these events put on by local people, people from outside of the area. What's the mix?
Local people. Yeah, I mean, we sometimes pull in musicians or possibly, resource people or vendors from outside, but they're all put on by local people.
Now, the events themselves sponsored by the Cultural Center and other organizations you mentioned.
Yeah, it just kind of depends. Juneteenth is being led by the city itself, which is a really cool thing, actually. Pride is being led by the Cultural Center, led by our AmeriCorps person, Zoe Vincent, and something that's really close to her heart. So she's running that, but it has wonderful sponsorships from Samaritan Health and from the city of Lincoln City.
How long are we going to be able to keep her?
Oh, she's only going to stay through early August, unfortunately, and then she's going back home to Kansas.
On purpose.
On purpose, yeah. No, she has been such a wonderful
She
addition
really has.
as our plaza activator. She's just terrific. But I think she's the kind of terrific, she wants to make her arts education and community life where she wants to stay. And I think she wants to stay near her family and friends where she went. Yeah. So she's going to go home and start doing what she's doing here, there. But we'll miss her a lot.
You also have got a retirement.
We do. We do.
I'm sorry to say.
Are you talking about Miss Judy Hardy?
Yes.
Well, it's actually a year away. So,
it is a year away.
I mean, she's so good that I have to plan for it for a year. So Judy Hardy is our events and rentals manager, and so she's given us a year's notice. So we brought in a new staff member, and he's going to be taking over some of the work, and she's going to keep some as operations manager, and he's going to take over events and rentals.
I thought she was going away soon. That's why I brought it up.
That's not the plan.
Today.
That's not the plan.
Very good. Happy to hear that.
No, she actually created that position, and you know how that is when
Yes.
when you create something. It's pretty hard to replace replace yourself. But she's being a really good sport, and we're trying to do the best we can to impart as much of her knowledge as we can before she
Because
goes.
she has a huge background.
Oh my gosh. Gosh. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
So we talked about a couple events to fill in inside the building. You've got things going on all of the time.
Well, we do. You know, we have two galleries. The first gallery, Chessman Gallery, is going to have the art studio tour. Mm-hmm. It's like a showcase of all the artists that are taking part in the art studio tour. And so you can see one piece or two pieces from each artist, and it's all marked with numbers. And if you look at the map for the art studio tour, you can see that it corresponds with the numbers on the map. And then at the end of the month, the last weekend of the month, you can go on the studio tour and see all these artists in their studios from Nescowan to Depot Bay. And it's totally free.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nikki, we appreciate you coming in today, but more importantly, we appreciate the work that you and your entire staff are doing. It a real showpiece for Lincoln City.
Well, thank you. We couldn't have done it without the support of people like you. So thank you.
It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Nikki Price, Executive Director, Lincoln City Cultural Center. Back in a moment.
We at La Roca are proud of our food, but don't take our word for it. Read the reviews. One person wrote, the service was friendly and efficient. Another writes, La Roca has become one of our favorites because it's authentic Mexican food.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
Have a gentleman on that we've had before. Keith Barnes is with us. Keith is with the Veterans Service Office down in Newport. And are veterans beginning to get in touch with you, coming on a little stronger, applying for benefits, or are we still lagging behind, Keith?
We have been really busy lately. The office has been stacked for appointments. We're about 2 weeks out now if you were to call and make an appointment. So it does take a little bit of time to get in. But we've been having a lot of good successes lately. Today, as a matter of fact, I sat with Caroline and went over decisions ratings from last week and this week and talked about the number of lives she's affected with these decision ratings that come in. Some people got 100%. Some people got brought up to 100%. And some people got their first service-connected disability, which comes along with a lot of additional benefits in the VA system. If you think about it, though, a veteran that's 100% service rated gets about $4,000 a month tax-free from the VA. Mm-hmm. And so when you go from having a disability and you've worked through it, and then all of a sudden the VA recognizes that $4,000 a month can change your life.
It really can change your life, but I think a lot of people have stayed away from it thinking it was a process they couldn't handle. You've made it simple.
Yeah, we've really streamlined the process for our office. Now, our office is just one piece of the cog. There's a lot of things that have to happen with the VA as well, but we've really worked through trying to make sure we get good claims forward.
Medical benefits are one of the biggies, but there's a number of other benefits by getting enrolled into the system, are there not?
Absolutely. Everything from cemetery services to disability services, housing services, educational services, employment services, healthcare, all sorts of them out there that we sometimes just forget about, but are necessary and important.
And why do we forget about all of these things that are at your fingertips and you've earned?
Well, I think sometimes because when we're young, when we leave, I was talking with a friend about this the other day. When you watch military movies, you see these guys in the military that are in their 30s and 40s or combat soldiers. And in real life, we were 18, 19.
Yeah.
And then we get out and we go to work and we don't think about it and we push it down. Or like with the LGBTQ community, they were discharged from the military because of who they were. And so they don't want to look back into their life and go, hey, this happened to me. I earn these benefits. So they kind of go out and avoid seeking those benefits, or they just don't understand it and are kind of scared to come in and ask about it.
Scared to come in and ask about it.
Yeah, when people talk about the VA, they start talking about big government and lots of things with it. And we always hear, well, I wasn't in combat. That doesn't really matter. If you were injured while you were changing the oil on a truck, or if you were exposed to chemical herbicides while you were loading up an aircraft, all those things could have affected you, affected your health, plus the mental health aspect of it. The military asks these kids, 18, 19 years old, to go out and kill people and then go work at the gas station when you get out of the service.
Tough.
And that isn't always the good transition afterwards.
Tough.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a load to bear.
It is a load to bear, and you can see it on them. And so there's lots of services out there to help them through that. They just need to ask.
Is there an information piece that people can readily get their hands on that says, these are your benefits? Bling, 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 right down the line.
There really isn't, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. A Vietnam veteran has a different set of benefits than a Vietnam-era veteran. And those two things are completely different. Same with a Gulf War veteran and a Gulf War era veteran. Their benefits are different, but doesn't mean that if you were in the Gulf War era, you didn't earn benefits without necessarily having to be in the Gulf War. Mm-hmm. So,
and the big difference would be what?
Well, there's a presumptive list that if you were in the Gulf War and you have these diseases, or you were in Vietnam and you have diseases associated with things like Agent Orange,
sure,
those are available to you. Now, I don't wish anybody to have these diseases by any means, but if you have them, then the government compensates you for them. Whereas if you were stationed, let's say at Beale Air Force Base, and never steps foot overseas or into one of those war zones, those presumptives might not be there for you, but other services and other benefits might be. And so we just kind of have to sit down and do an intake. We sat down and did an intake.
Yes, we did.
We talked about, what your service was and what it looked like and what disabilities might come from it. And we were able to put together, I think, is a pretty solid claim. Now, granted, with that claim, it's a low number, but even a 10% disability opens up a big Pandora's box of different services through the VA that you might be eligible for. And that's what we want to look for.
I will admittedly tell you that I was amazed. I didn't expect the response that I got. I appreciate the effort that you put into making it happen.
Absolutely, and we appreciate doing it. And it is such an honor to be able to help people, or help, real quick, we had a client, worked really hard with him, got him finally 100% service connected, and before his first check came in, his first regular check, he passed away. And that's awful. And it hurts the office. I mean, you can feel it in the office when this happens.
Absolutely.
But because of the work that we did, we were able to get the wife's services now, and she now receives a stipend from the government. And this is just weeks ago that we were able to put this together, and this is going to change her life as well, because without her husband, she's lost that income stream.
Keith, we appreciate you coming up. And again, Keith Barnes, if I want to sit down and talk with you, I do what?
Give us a call, 541-265-0570. Make an appointment. It's easier to do as an appointment. I will also be out at the Lincoln City Culture Center on June 29th for the Pride Festival out there. And I want to remind that there's a lot of veterans out there that hide their service because of the way they were discharged. And now we're trying to correct that and fix that. And so that's why we're sponsoring the Pride Festival this year and going to be out there hoping to make contacts. I think we'll have some shirts we can hand out.
If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries.
We may be young, but we are experienced. Hi, Adina Zeller here, and Zeller's restaurants are now a year old, but the experience in preparing and serving food goes way back generations. Zeller's Lincoln City and Rose Lodge. Come on in.
Been another interesting program. We appreciate all of the efforts that Rob Davis, Nikki Price, and Keith Barnes put into their particular line of expertise, because it's a calling that is needed, welcomed, and honored.
Yeah, and the city of Lincoln City, too, for helping put on the Pride event there that's coming up there at the Cultural Center, too.
Speaking of the city of Lincoln City and some events that they're helping to put on, we have a flag dedication, a flagpole dedication, and flag that's going to be taking place Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock, at the Ed Johann Veterans Park here in Lincoln City. We will have a flag raised over that park for the first time that was flown over the nation's capital. Representative Gomberg secured that flag for us. It will be then presented to Frank King, a World War II vet, who in turn will hand it over to the Coast Guard for it to be raised. When the flag comes back down, I do hope to have the Coast Guard presented to Ed Bend, another World War II veteran and a member of the Confederated Tribes Sluts Indians. And Ed then will present it to me, and it is my hope it'll wind up down at the museum forever in a day. So that's all coming up 5 o'clock Friday at the Ed Johann Veterans Park here in Lincoln City. Also, 50 years, the anniversary celebration of Cascade Head Scenic Research Area. CHESRA is going to become a term that people will know about.
Yeah, and indeed we're going to have a special guest in a subsequent week here. Frank Boyden's going to join us and really talk about CHESRA and what that was and what that means at 50. And so there is going to be that big celebration, though, that the community is invited to June 29th. That's a Saturday from 11 to 2 at the Cascade Head Experimental Forest headquarters, which is that building that you probably never been to because it's just off of Old Scenic as you go back roads to Nesquin. So head up Old Scenic Highway 101 and up on the right-hand side, and there'll be some markers. But again, June 29th, that's a Saturday from 11 to 2. So the community's invited, and everyone's welcome to come down for that event. Music and fun and films and speakers.
June 15th, we got a special activity at the Cultural Center. It is the Juneteenth celebration to amplify Black voices. This, again, is one of those activities that shouldn't have to take place, but thankfully it is taking place.
Well, now we have a national holiday and state holiday, and this event marks that holiday event, and the Cultural Center is putting that on. Again, it's going to be on Saturday, June 15th, starts at 11 a.m.
And again, open to the public.
Oh, yeah. Going to be another event there in Lincoln City Cultural Center.
June 22, we have Touch Truck put on with the Lincoln City Parks and Rec, noon to 2. This is at the Community Center. Big rigs, fast rigs, and dirty rigs is what they say.
Well, I washed my van, so I'm not going to be able to enter now. So
it'll be the 75th birthday celebration for Curtis Park. Food, raffle prizes, and a whole lot more. And again, it is another free event. We invite each and every one of you to attend that as well.
Yeah, you think 75 years for Curtis Park. That's
it
older
really
than Lincoln City.
It is.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive space that came to be. And, I remember playing T-ball down there and majors and the whole like. So, still haven't got my first home run, but, maybe there's an opportunity.
Well, they will move the fence back.
Well, forward, hopefully, for me.
Now, we did not have a winner in our trivia question.
Right. What's the most remote town in the U.S.?
Yes, the single most remote town in the United States. It is 4.5 hours away from any other major metropolitan area. It's a town of the size, I think I read, and it's got to be true because I read it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Got to be true. Of about 3,500 people. I will have an opportunity to visit that town this summer. But what is the name of the city? What is the name of the town? Send us an email to
Roger@RRshow.com. And as a little hint, we did hint at a little bit there. Think back to Radio RR, maybe some prehistory there. Might search our website. Who knows?
It is out there, but it is the most, and I shouldn't even use the term obscure town, but it is way out there.
It's the second best town in that state. I'll just tell you
second best. And I wonder why it would only be number 2. That may become another trivia question down the road as well. Anything else from your side of the table, Mr. Paul?
No, I think we're clear for here. Thanks again.
That'll do it to the doings. And we invite you to like, share, subscribe so you, your family, and friends around the world and across the street can join us at a Double R show. For John and Paul, I am Double R. Have yourself a happy day.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grawn.